Hello and welcome to Weavy Office Hours, our weekly show where we are on here to answer your questions, all the important questions, like, for example, who was the best James Bond? Is it Daniel Craig, Timothy Dalton? A lot of people would say Sean Connery. Of course, I'm joking. We all know the best James Bond was George Lazenby, star of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Uh, Here with a detailed 10-point presentation on that is, of course, our onboarding engineer, Mai. Hi, Mai.
Hello.
So, tell me, why was Lazenby the best?
Can't beat Lazenby. That's what I say.
That's true. When Mai first started, the first thing she said to us, she didn't even say, "Hi, I'm Mai." She said, "Can't beat Lazenby."
My
And
motto.
she's been ringing that bell ever since. Um, so, Mai, we are talking about styling today, correct?
Yes. We're going to cover how to style chat, and give you some examples of certain things you can style.
Nice. So, assuming, as always, that I know nothing, because I do, what sort of granularity do we have when it comes to Weavy Chat and styling in terms of like what elements can be modified versus like what's set in stone?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the beauty of Weavy. It's high level of customizability. So really anything you want to style, you can style, and it's all up to your imagination. There are certain things you can't change, things that have to do with Weavy core,
Hmm.
but like most things, if you can imagine it, you can accomplish it with Weavy.
So MySpace rules apply then.
MySpace rules.
My God, if I just dated myself horribly, yeah. So back before Facebook, MySpace would let you customize to just a rotten level, like
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you
colorful
get you,
frames, colorful boxes, glitter and sparkles.
yeah. Anything you can imagine, you can do it.
All right, so my chat app can look like a circa 2005 web app.
It can look like MySpace if you wanted it to.
That's okay. That's very good. So, are we covering today in the style tutorial?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over the file structure of the Weavy SDK and where you can style certain aspects that
Right
you're
on.
looking to style.
Well, since this one is a little bit of a longer tutorial, we'll roll right into it, and then maybe we can address some more topics on the other side. All right. Thank you.
So you've successfully set up your server SDK and got chat up and running in your application, and now you're looking to style chat and wondering, where do I start? Go ahead and open your solution in Visual Studio. If you're looking to style chat, the only folders you will need to be looking into are areas, apps, views, messenger, and styles, messenger. If we are editing anything in this header section here, you will be looking at the views, messenger, messenger file. For example, if I wanted to change this plus icon or change this avatar to a back button, I could go to where my server is running and go to the test page, which is filled with icons and other UI elements that you can utilize to customize your chat as you see fit. You can see we were able to change the message plus icon to this comment icon and the avatar icon from before to this arrow left icon. If you wanted to edit the conversations list, you will be editing the underscore conversation file. For example, we can change the 3 dots on the side to match the color of our other icon here. If you wanted to edit the format and view of this date, you will find that under Messages. If I didn't like the way the date is formatted and I wanted a longer form of the date, I could change that. To edit this section of the message, you will be editing the message file. I will be changing these chat bubbles to be more rounded. For this bottom section, you will be editing the message form. I will be removing all of these cloud providers except for Google Drive and your computer. If you wanted to change anything in this new message modal, you will be editing message modal. If I wanted to incorporate other icons, I could do that as well. For this, I want to change the back arrow to a close icon, and I want to move it from the left to the right. To do that, I will be editing the user file. Another thing to note is that different sizes, the chat will toggle between a full view and a minified view. You can change the breakpoint where this occurs by going into the Styles Messenger and looking at the dual class. Well, that's it for this video, but there are many more ways to style Weavy. It's all up to your imagination.
And we're back. So as you said at the end of the tutorial, there are many more ways to style Weavy. So I've got some questions. My first one was about rounded corners because rounded corners are in again. I'm looking at a screen and nothing but rounded corners everywhere I look. Is that something like achievable? Again, maybe this is an obvious question for you, a person who knows these things, but for me, an idiot.
Yeah, any elements within the chat that you would like rounded, you can definitely put like a border radius or something like that on the element. But if you wanted like the whole chat to be rounded, then that deals more with like the client side. And so on the container on the client side, that's where you can put the rounded corners.
Gotcha. Um, just to, I guess, illustrate that difference, that would be more like the hosting app side of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. So, that would be working, with your UX designer or as your UX designer to make sure that like the container window for the Weavy chat
Yeah,
essentially
or
is.
your front end developer. Yeah.
Mhm. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Um, the other big question I had was just like, um, I noticed you were doing a lot of sort of inspecting of elements. Is that like pretty standard as a way to sort of test the changes before you implement them in the code?
Um, yeah, that could be done. You can inspect for like numerous reasons.
Hmm.
You can inspect to see what the name of an element is if you're trying to change that. I highly recommend doing that because then you don't have to, it just streamlines things, make things easier, especially if you're trying to style something that you're not too familiar with. You can inspect. Inspect the page, see what the class name is or what the ID is, and then search for that in Weavy, and then you can change that there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and some people can also make changes right there on the web page um, before actually doing anything, just to see their changes live, and then you don't have to like go into the CSS, change it there, and then save it, and then see your changes on the web. It makes things a lot easier in
Sure,
that
that
sense
makes
too.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. As like anecdotally, when I'm doing web design things with our CEO Ricard, who's obviously very hands-on with all elements of Weavy, that's his favorite way to play with things without even going into the editor, is to use the inspect elements tool in Chrome.
Mhm.
What would I say are some of the bigger challenges that you have run into when it comes to styling Weavy, or that you've seen customers come to with styling Weavy?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest challenge in the beginning was just finding where things were, because something it's not as intuitive sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm glad that now this tutorial exists, and anybody who wants to style Weavy has this tutorial that they can refer to, at least for chat.
Hmm. Gotcha. Um, yeah, is there anything else you think is worth noting or sort of keeping in mind as people sort of get going on their journey to like make Weavy fit in better in their app ecosystem or environment, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, anything you can imagine, you can achieve with Weavy. And so if you're ever stuck or anything like that, like Dave and I are happy to help move you along. So don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Yeah. Um, Speaking from my own experience on this point, one of the things that's actually really exciting to me is, when somebody does the work to really implement Weavy on their app, uh, you basically can't tell that it's Weavy. Like, it does not look like the tool that our team is using every day to communicate with each other.
Yeah, I'm amazed by what some people come up with.
Yeah. So hopefully this gets all of you out there and around the world start on that journey. But I am now going to start on a journey to getting some more coffee. Um, as always, if you've got any questions, comments, concerns, you can email any one of us. Our email addresses are super easy because they are our names at weavy.com. I, of course, am Andy, A-N-D-Y, and just gotta get in the habit. Weavy, WEAVY.com. Joining me as always is Mai. Uh, Joining us in spirit, of course, is Dave. Um, you know, any questions you have, not even about Weavy, you can always email Dave. Dave loves answering questions. Things about the weather, uh, you know, candy preferences, anything like that. Dave at Weavy.com is your go-to source. I don't even use Google anymore. I just use Dave.
Yeah, if you want to talk about Squid Games, Dave loves that too.
Yeah, Dave is on that Squid Game, pretty hard. He's got theories. We haven't ruled out that he is not joining us today because he's busy maintaining his Squid Game TikTok.
Yeah, who knows what Dave's up to?
Exactly. It's a mystery. And if you know what Dave's up to, you can always email us. Again, first names at weavy.com. I'm Andy. Thank you for joining me, Mai. I will see you next week. What do we have to look forward to?
Next week, we'll be going over some common issues, troubleshooting authentication. So stay tuned for that.
Great. Thank you so much. And have a great day, all of you out there.